Call the meeting to order. Rise to the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are recording. Is anybody else recording?
I am.
I'll make a motion to follow the meeting agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Public participation.
Nothing on it. For anybody at public participation?
I am. Yeah. My name's Greg Paul, and I have a concern about some property that we own on O'Leary Road. And about a year ago, the road was altered. So now, and granted, I only own a little under 3 acres of land over there, but now it's a wetlands because when they altered the road, they destroyed my property. It's killing all the hardwoods. It's killed the hemlocks. You're Tammy. Pleasure to meet you.
The voice on the phone.
I sent her all the pictures. I had the opportunity, I missed because of my work. This summer I never got there when it really rained good, but on the 27th of last month, I caught it just as it stopped raining. And I've talked with Joe Catrini and everybody, and I've sent these pictures. She's got all of them. I got some here if you want to look at them. And the way they put in the diversion ditch, the way they built the road up, all the water comes down and it puddles in our neighbor's land, which now I notified them. They were a little upset. So they may come to one of these also because it's destroying, I don't know, maybe a couple acres in their property too because it's killing all the trees. I've lost my hemlocks. I've lost all my apples. My oak trees, I noticed about 3 weeks ago, all the leaves fell off. They're sitting in puddles, so they're dying. My pines now, my white pines, the needles are dropping and they're turning yellow. So they're gonna be drowned out too. Like I said, I've only got like 3 acres and all my good trees are dying or are already dead. Joe Catrini came, he looked the situation over, sort of shrugged his shoulders and says, well, you know, it's been a pretty wet year. We've owned this property for almost 40 years. So I know when it rains, we get a little water on it, but within a week, it's gone. I mow, we keep it mowed. The family goes over there, we shoot, we hunt, we do whatever. This year, we couldn't touch it. I had a weed whacker and I dropped it down a little bit. But it's in standing water right now. As we talk, I can, instead of on early spring, you may see a little bit of a drainage as the ground thaws and whatnot, and then it just goes away and life's great. Well, as of archery season last year, and most of this I'm relating because that's when I spend most of my time over there, is during hunting seasons. And in archery season, there were puddles underneath the trees we normally get up in. And I thought something was strange, but like I couldn't pinpoint it. Well, then when we went turkey hunting this past spring, and we happened to walk up towards this well pad, we got to see partly this big storage pond, retention pond, and the creek that it runs or feeds now. So, and they built the road up. It used to be the road was below forest grade most of the way. And most of the water ran down the road. And on our end of the road, which is up by Jake Inman, okay, we never had problems with it. The only part of that road that used to have mega problems is the no maintenance part of it, and it would wash out. Well, they widened it, they restructured that, and all that water goes into gullies, which then runs down to the creek. But everything on our end goes across all these little sluice pipes, dumps all this water into that retention pond, which on the 27th, the retention pond was what, 4, 5 foot deep? And I had a creek that was from here to your table going down through the woods. And then, and Tammy can show you the pictures, the woods has probably 3 inches of standing water over some of the woods that we've never had water on. Never. So I'd like to see if we could do something before I lose everything. And I talked to Tina Pickett's office, and they said I needed to come to a council meeting and get things rolling. I sent pictures to Joe Catrini. Never heard a response from him. So I'm looking to you guys to see if we can resolve this before we have no property whatsoever. Because right now it's a wetland. It's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. So we've been paying taxes for, like I said, 4 decades. And the hemlock died within 6 months of this road operation. So it's a concern to me. And the landowners that own above me, I finally got to talk to them last night, and now they're concerned. And their question immediately was like, did they put one of them ponds on yours? I says, yeah. Did they ask you? No. Now I took my pond, and I told Joe I was going to alter it a little bit, and I did, because everything that came into that retention pond was washing out my driveway. So I altered it so it actually went into the gutter and underneath the sluice pipe that's underneath my entranceway where it belongs. And it just trickles down there. But if you look at it, it looks like Buttermilk Falls coming down the top of that from Inman's, because it dumps everything from the top of that hill now to that big retention pond by the gas well. So that's where I stand right now, and I'm looking for something to resolve this soon, because by next spring, if something doesn't get done, I might just as well take a dozer over there. And it was brought up to me the one time, well, a couple of people, can you put a diversion ditch? Well, why should I have to put a diversion ditch on my property that for 40 years I've not had any problem with? So I guess my biggest concern is, one, and everybody makes mistakes, so I got no problem with that. And I'm going to say the person that overlooked the properties, didn't look deep enough on the hillsides to see where it was going to drain. Just fix it. That's all I care about. You make a mistake, you fix the mistake. I do it in my job. You fix it. So that's my concern. And Tammy has all the pictures. And it was a perfect day to take pictures. It just stopped raining, and oh, she's flowing. And it's actually created a bigger creek off the well pad, the way they diverted above the well pad, because, like I said, they raised the road, I want to say 18, 20 inches, and they brought it to forest grade. And there's a chunk that's between the two ponds that it hardly gets any water. Everything's coming from that large retention pond on top. On the west side of the road, there's gutters all the way down, and it's banked probably 8-10 foot up, so they've got one of these little runoffs where they like dug into the side a little bit and threw stones, and then it comes up, hits that, and then it just diverts down into the next diversion ditch, and then goes down a little bit farther, and then goes into across the sluice. then goes down a little ways, and then goes across the sluice. But then the rest of it, from the top to the pad, dumps right down into the pond and right across our properties. And like I said, it's killing everything. It's literally killing. And I thought they were there to conserve properties, not create wetlands. So that's my concern. So appreciate you listening to me. And if there's anything we can do, like in the near future, to save some of it, greatly appreciated, because I really don't want to lose my oaks. I planted 4 of the 6 or 7 apple trees that I had pruned. They've been producing quite well in the last 4 or 5 years now. They're dead. I mean, they're dead. So that's the other thing. So I guess I'll end up replacing them all if I can get the water problem taken care of. I also talked to that Chesapeake Bay, what was her name? Jen, I think her name was, that does the plantings of the trees. And she's there, well, you get this all resolved, maybe we can come in and we can see what kind of trees. And I says, well, what kind of trees really like water? And she just says, oh. I says, it's literally, I mean, you've seen the pictures. The water's 3 inches deep. When it rains hard, yeah, it floods the whole thing, the whole woods. So that's my concern. And so far, I don't seem to be getting any kind of results on any of this. And I've started in May. I talked with Tammy in May, and then followed through the rest of the summer, met with Joe and
I think,
Tim?
has Joe been up there twice now?
Nope, once.
Just once?
That one time.
Did Tim go up first?
Yes, he
and
was-
then Joe
he
and
was
Tim
just
went up
the-
the second
No,
time?
no. Joe and Tim were there that one day, and that was it.
Tim looked at it by himself. He didn't meet you.
Oh, so he didn't meet me on that one. No, I was just there on that one day, and he was sort of like quiet and just went through. And the only thing that Joe could tell me that one particular day was like, yeah, I've got this little chunk in my property that I haven't been able to use this summer because we've had so much rain. And I thought, no, be polite, don't say anything. But I should have said, well, did they alter anything on your property to create this swamp that you got that you can't mow? Because you did on this. And I don't want to say he doesn't know his job. He probably is very good at it. But he overlooked something on this. So that's where I stand. Thank you.
Okay. So basically from our standpoint, this was a county dirt and gravel roads program. And we basically just did the work according to their plans, the way that they wanted to do it. And we can't really alter that without their permission. It all is gonna have to, anything that we do is gonna have to go through them. We received this grant with a stipulation that we will construct it in a way according to the way they drew it and maintain it in the way that they drew it. Now, if they come up with a solution, that's one thing, but we can't, like I say, we can't just go up there and look at the problem and fix your problem. Or we're gonna be in hot water over they gave us $180,000 on that project, and we'd be in hot water if we went up there and fixed it the common sense way to help you out.
Right.
You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And I've heard that side, and Tammy's explained part of that too. And that part I understand. So, but I'm going by what Tina Pickett's office told me. So I'm gonna go through the chain of commands.
Right.
So I've gone through one of and I realize, because yes, they designed it. So now somehow or another, and I'm hoping there's some kind of feedback you can give to Joe
We can
pursue
I can
this.
go up there and meet with Joe and Tim.
And I can meet anytime. I will drop any job that I'm doing, and I can meet there. That's what I told Joe on the day that I met them then. I said, you let me know when you're gonna be there. I will be there. I can stop my work, and I will go there to get this resolved.
Okay.
So I understand all that. So I'm going through my chain that and I'm gonna go back to Tina Pickett's, and I'm gonna tell her what's going on. So maybe she can pursue it also.
Okay.
So, but yes, I understand because you're doing what you were instructed,
Right.
and that I understand. So
But I have no problem with going up there and meeting with Joe, meeting with you, and looking at the
Yep.
situation and see if we can come up with a solution that they're okay with.
Yes, yes.
I have no problem with that.
Yep. That's at any time, like I said. I mean, it's getting sort of late in the season where we're gonna start getting frost in the ground, and it's gonna be like, we're done.
Right.
And the backhoe's not gonna be able to break ground and anything else. I mean, it's still, we probably got another month.
Right.
And then, but if we keep in the teens, we're done.
Right.
So that's, and yes, Tammy explained to me, but like I said, that's why I went to Tina Pickett's office. I gotta get something rolling. I thought something was gonna get going a little bit sooner than this, but it didn't. And I didn't really have the opportunity to get the pictures I really wanted to. And when the 27th popped in, it was like, I couldn't get any better. I couldn't get any better. So, and as far as, I mean, if I have to, and it's gotta come out of my pocket, and I gotta get a backhoe or something over there to divert it, it kind of defeats the purpose because, one, it's coming out of my pocket. Two, if I divert it, I'm gonna divert it back to the road. Because that's where it's gotta go.
Right.
So that sort of defeats the purpose of doing this project to start with. So I just want everybody to understand what's going on. And like I said, in some ways, it's gone on too long, but in other ways, now that I got to, with all the foliage down and get to see all the leaves being moved by the waters, and the pictures pretty much say what's going on.
Okay.
I'm kind of disappointed. I thought maybe Joe might show up tonight. I have not heard any response from their department whatsoever. And he got all the pictures. All the pictures that Tammy got, he got them.
Okay.
And you did say he received them, or his
I talked to somebody in his office.
Yeah.
He did receive them and he was supposed to get
back, and it's like,
let me know. I think that was probably the first actual visual of, it's one thing to go up and look at it and say, this is what's happening, but then to actually see the pictures, because I mean, there were quite a few pictures and they really
yeah.
were self-explanatory.
And like when he went, we were right in in between storms. So like when you walk across the ground, you were walking on like a sponge. But you still had half a dozen cricks, still a slow movement going across the property. And he just sort of shrugged it off like, well, we've had a wet summer. Well, last summer we had a really wet summer too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so don't blame that. And I says, in 40 years, come on. I know what goes on and what doesn't go on our property. So I voiced, so everybody now is aware of it. And hopefully we can get Joe involved and we can get his department to maybe correct the situation.
Okay.
So we don't have to take it any farther. That's what my biggest concern is.
Okay.
So, again, I appreciate it. But yes, I know, because Tammy's pretty good on the phone. Now, we've had many conversations.
All right.
So,
We'll do what we can do to
all
rectify.
right, so
the
I
problem within our-
appreciate it.
Okay.
And you people were my starting point. That's why I was informed. I needed to come here and meet with the township.
Okay.
So, we're here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I make a motion to accept the minutes from the October meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Financial reports. What's that? Yes, I do. So the treasurer's report, if you looked at it, is a little bit different. They printed off, I guess Diane can probably explain it better. All right.
I
Maybe.
printed them off.
Maybe you can explain it a little bit better.
They're just the bank reconciliation statements. Every month, somebody's supposed to go through and reconcile all the accounts for everything that's been entered into the system and compare it to the bank. And
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Does she have your contact information?
Yes,
Oh,
she
yeah.
does.
All right.
Yes, she does.
Thank you.
Drive
But
safe.
that's a report that I print off every month and I put with the bank statements and all of the deposits, transfers, any activity in the bank accounts. And it actually contains all of the information that's normally on all of the other reports that are printed. So it's the same information, it just looks a little bit different and it's on 2 pages instead of 10 or 15. Yes.
Okay. I will make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Monthly expenses. All right, tractor supply, oil and $129.97. East Smithfield Hardware, drill bits, more drill bits, I guess. 3 drill bits, that's $28.74. And Foots Auto,
Today.
no, Halloween, 3119. It looks like a truck tire, 25 Goodyear, 315.80. Maybe that might be for the little Dodge. Yeah, 315.80, 22.5. 405, 2 of them.
Front.
What's that?
I think they were the front tires.
For the little Dodge.
For inspection.
Yeah. 923.66. 5-star equipment. Pin washer and snap ring. Must be for the back. 58.16. It's all the same thing. Switch tire. This one's from today, yesterday, actually, yeah. 14.37. This is tires for the back of the backhoe. Okay, 2 rear tires for the backhoe, $495 a piece, $990, and then mounting disposal, tire disposal, $1,437.
Wait a minute. Did they charge us for disposal? We got them.
Oh, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they held there. I thought we'd keep them.
Yeah.
There's the whole lines.
Yeah. Alright. Tractor supply oil for trucks, $119.97. Moore's Auto, wiper blades for the Volvo and the Little Mac. 6-piece set screw. Not sure what that is. $29.46. It's just an invoice. 67.34 is the total. East Smithfield Hardware. Thread lock, red thread lock, and halogen bulb. So shot. $13.98 from East Smithfield Hardware. Bradco Supply, Spacer Block, Bolt Block Washer. This is Big Mac. Is that for that hoist cylinder? What they had, you know?
What was it?
This is from Bradco Supply. This is a spacer, a block, bolts, lock washers.
I thought there was something on that truck that they had to adjust.
On October 4th, so that would have been about that long. Big Mac was down, something with the hoist cylinder.
Right, okay.
So,
Yeah, they had to put up, the truck that we got from Troy, there was a bracket that wasn't on the truck, up on the top of the cylinder comes up. And they thought maybe it was because you put a new box on it.
right.
And maybe that bracket was gonna hit it, but the pin had lost its retainer. So that's what that's about.
Okay. So that's from Bradco Supply, 16309. Bradco Supply, 35 by 24, 14-inch galvanized arch. Corrugated, 2 pieces, 30 feet, 30 feet, 1 piece, 40 feet. Or the pipes, all the pipes for the Burnett Lane must be.
The big
35.
ones, those are the arched ones.
Yes, yeah. Yes, $3,553. Yeah, that will come back from the gravel roads. Insinger Quarries, 2 RC, 4 loads, $1,220.23. And Insinger Quarries, this is the material, the 2 RC material for Burnett Lane. That will also get reimbursed from certain gravel roads project. 49,291.66. I'll make a motion to accept these and pay these bills.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fund transfers. Gonna move 30,000 general fund savings to general fund checking. Is that where we're getting it from? All right. And where do you need the payroll?
25,
25,000.
yeah, that's almost nothing.
And where are we gonna take that?
Probably impact.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to move $30,000 from general fund savings to general fund checking, and 25,000 from the impact fund to the payroll account.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Township reports, nothing from ordinance enforcement. Road crew summary. So basically, what's the status of Burnett Lane? Is that,
We got it,
is it done?
It's done, there's some driveways that's needed to be rolled, but,
and they did that.
they thought they might need them again, but they said they were drivable, and then it snowed last week, so I don't think they're gonna be able to do anything more up there this year.
Okay.
But as far as I know, it's,
They rolled it yesterday, they were up there.
they rolled it yesterday,
Yeah.
before they brought the roller back this week.
Yeah, and then, and now it's,
He said there was tire tracks in the driveways, but he said it wasn't anything major, they were just, I think they were just trying to kind of smooth everything out a little bit.
And they got the spreaders on.
Yep, the spreader on the trucks, the plows are ready to go, the plows are on the
Yeah,
truck.
they've been out
Everything's
ways.
set, right, yeah, everything's all ready to go. All right. Fire department report. Correspondence and communication.
Oh, before I forget, under road crew, summary, I've got personnel marked down on 6 months of stuff. I don't know what you want to do there.
And I don't know, what do you think?
No. How many is it actually miss?
Well, the last couple, I don't know about the first.
I don't know.
Hold on, so 3 months, we'll do 3 months.
What's that?
Hold on, 3 months, or no?
How long has he been here? He's been here for 6 months.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. What do you think?
Could extend him, I guess. I don't know if I can extend him 3 months. You know?
Come back in a month.
Okay.
You wanna do that? Come back to it in a month? Alright. So we're just basically notifying us that they're gonna fly the pipelines and inspect them.
Yeah, they're doing it, I think it said something about replacing pipes where needed, UGI.
Right. Alright. So this is just a notification from UGI that they're gonna be doing inspection and maintenance on pipelines. I don't know if we have to do anything about it, right? So just notifying us. What's that?
Just required.
Oh. Business, resolution 2019-02, suspension of the occupation and per capita taxes. I make a motion to accept resolution 2019-02 to suspend the occupation and per capita tax for 2020.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Subdivision Galvin.
need is the paperwork signed for sanitation for that. So we haven't received that back from you guys yet.
They didn't give you any new paperwork after the apron was added, right?
No, it wasn't new paperwork. Sanitation had already approved what was going on there. You guys should have signed it 2 months ago, when we've just been waiting for it either way.
Are you okay with that? As it stands?
Exactly what that, yeah.
What's that? It's signed off from sanitation. They'll tell it signed off on the 20th of September. Why has the planning commission not signed off?
Because the planning commission doesn't get it till after we get it back from you. Now we take it down to the planning commission, back to sanitation and the DEP. But we needed your signature first. It should have been 2 months ago.
It didn't meet the local ordinance. So they
Well,
couldn't
yeah,
sign
but
off on it.
that's something else entirely though. This is sanitation. The ordinance was something entirely. We took care of that.
Right, but in the meantime, there's a lot of paperwork there, and they're just trying to figure out what
That's why I
goes
asked you to
into
call
what.
Mary on this. This stuff, the sanitation stuff's separate entirely from it. It just draws us back that much further, that's all.
I'll make a motion to accept the subdivision for Galvin as long as it meets the requirements of the planning commission and the county sanitation plan.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
see stuff.
It's the same thing. Just another copy.
One of those should be labeled township copy.
Yeah, this is ours. Yeah.
This is 35 acres, right?
What's that?
5 acres.
Yeah. And all that includes the 5th acre, correct?
This is, yeah, it'll be a 5 acre tract.
That one has the 5 acres.
I just need the paperwork to get sanitation. This is the 5 acre one, it should be yours, is this, this should be here too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That will be yours, this was the old one. I'm guessing. This is from planning. Because what I need, I gotta take these around, the rest of that goes back to planning. I gotta get these around and back to sanitation, so.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
got another one here in a second.
Okay. All right, subdivisions, right there in the lot, so.
There's 15 things later this week. I'll get up to 17 later this week or early next week, whatever. I've seen that, this weather's just ridiculous, you know.
So what are they actually doing here?
Okay, well, it's the brothers, it's two-piece plan, but I can show you just the front page. And this piece here is being cut off to give to the brother and equal stuff. The remainder still has the farmhouse, which is up here, as being a residential lot. This one coming off will be an agricultural lot. It, specifics is, yeah, about 42 acres is what's coming off here. We have perks, that's right, we did have perks, no, it's not even a residential, we'll both be residential. This is right down, just above Rumsey Road off Southgate. But,
So they're just subdividing this lot out?
yeah, he's cutting that off to even up with the brother for whatever.
Okay. No, probably Jimmy, right?
Jimmy's, I
James.
forget which one's which. Jimmy's the one that lives here.
Parcel's the one who lives.
Partial's there, but Jimmy's the one that's from Texas.
That's right.
Yeah, Jimmy's getting this.
Around the 45 acre pieces, Jim.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And that's just similar situation, we just need the septic sign.
Okay. That's it. That's all. Anything else in here except there's that page for the,
Yes, I think there's 3 or 4 copies of it there. The boxes may need to be checked for she had a hybrid too.
okay.
I think it's just that one page.
Okay. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
goes. That one moves. Checks on the it's just the page before it. Let's see. Same thing right there. Okay, let me take that and we'll make sure you get a copy of this. Because I'm not sure if you have enough copies here, but if you do. But I'll get you back if it's, okay?
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the Red Liner subdivision. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, folks.
But the last one, all that is you need to return that doesn't have the sanitation paperwork. That would just basically saying that you have those comments on it, and then you need to sign that form there. And, because it's in that 30-day review process, so it looks like they're just starting this one. It's not as far into it.
Right.
The kids, no sewer, no driveways or anything that's been asked for. They just want us to put it around.
Right. To the kids. Or whatever.
Yep. Let's see. The old house, there's the old house.
Yeah,
It's here.
Yeah, that's the right. All right. I don't have any problem with it, do you? All right, I'll make a motion to accept the Palazzo subdivision.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
adjourn the meeting.